Actually, when we have a conversation, write a novel, or even write an email, we have discourse. Discourse just means a set of related sentences that are directed to a theme or a purpose. In this set of related sentences, we convey new information but also make reference to old information, or what we call given information. When we refer to given information, we often need to search in memory for the antecedent to it. So how do we actually search for the antecedent for given information? There are primarily three ways to do that. The first is direct matching, the second is bridging, and the third is reinstatements. Today, I will focus on the first two. So what is direct matching? For instance, let's look at a discourse consisting of two sentences. The first sentence is, I saw a cat, and the second sentence is, the cat is running away. We can see that in the second sentences, the cat refers to a cat in the first sentence, which serves as its antecedent. Because they share the word cat, we call this direct matching. But direct matching does not just repeat words. It repeats old information and does not need to be completely identical to the antecedent. Just because some words are repeated doesn't mean they are necessarily referring to an antecedent. For example, consider this sentence. Last time, Kitty and I went to a Chinese restaurant for dinner. After that, she said she would never go to this expensive and unsavory restaurant again. From the context of this discourse, we know that a Chinese restaurant is an antecedent for this expensive and unsavory restaurant. Contrast it with this discourse. Last time, Kitty and I went to a Chinese restaurant for dinner, but for this time, we are going to meet at our friend's restaurant. In this sentence, a Chinese restaurant is not the antecedent for our friend's restaurant. Even though the word restaurant is repeated, the word but tells us that our friend's restaurant contrasts with the Chinese restaurant we went to, and therefore should be different from that. Having learned direct matching, let's look at bridging. Bridging happens when the information was not mentioned explicitly in the previous discourse. For example, consider this discourse consisting of two sentences. I bought a cup of coffee yesterday in a shopping center. The coffee shop was announced to be closed down today. In this discourse, the phrase, the coffee shop, is not mentioned explicitly in the first sentence, but it can be inferred by bridging. Because I bought a cup of coffee yesterday, I must have bought it from a coffee shop. Now, I have a question for you. When you read two discourses, one involving direct matching and the other involving bridging, which discourse do you think it takes less effort to read and understand? We can consider these two discourses, for example. The first is, I ate a piece of cake in a restaurant yesterday. I'm going to the restaurant for lunch again. The second one is, I had a delicious cake at Kitty's birthday party yesterday. I'm going to the restaurant for lunch again. Howland and Clark tested this question in an experiment in 1974. They showed these two types of discourses to a person and asked them to press the yes button when they had understood the discourse. They measured the reaction time, which was the time from the beginning of reading to pressing the button, and found that the reaction time was longer for the discourse involving bridging than for the discourse involving directed matching. This may be because bridging requires a step of drawing and inferences, and this may slow down comprehension. Can you design a mini experiment to test this question by creating your own discourses of direct matching and bridging?